Masculine Mindset Show. All right, brothers, for any of you that actually clicked on this podcast, seriously, I applaud you, because not every man really wants to do this type of work, okay? Not to mention, with my podcast, I'm going to be approaching this topic a little differently than most, I would say mindset coaches or anything like that, because I'm Adam Skoda, let's just face it. But anyways, this is about dealing with past trauma. So do yourself the favor of listening to this podcast all the way to the end, because if you at all know that you've been through a lot of bullshit, I relate to you, because you guys listen to me. I was friend zoned at 16, but also shortly after I was hospitalized. It was just a long story, but I believe I did a podcast on that story. Yeah, I talked about this with Hannah on that vulnerability podcast. But anyways, guys, let's get into the content, all right? You are listening to the Masculine Mindset Show, a podcast for men to develop a backbone, a masculine purpose, if you will, and get more physically attractive, and even become more mentally healthy. All you men listening, I turn nice introverts into fit, self-entitled savages, if you will. And you might even become a little cocky as a result of your G status. More importantly, you guys, I also show you how to flirt and date more women and seal the deal. Just look at the show notes. They are all on my blog articles. Let's get into the content. Okay, guys, I'm going to really start out this podcast by saying that this is dedicated to a friend named Drew Yaris. Not going to be talking about Joe Lieberman today, but rest in peace, the both of them, okay? Drew Yaris, Joe, rest in peace. But understand this, you guys. If you ever have went through some serious trauma, such as sexual assault or even natural disaster or a sudden death from a friend or anything like that, this is something that you should really look into, okay? Now, not everyone really goes through this type of stuff. I went through emotional detachment, okay? That is an example of trauma. If you really think about it, you guys, that is an example of trauma. But I will tell you point blank that you guys, I do have some pretty overboard podcasts. Just when I say if you want to follow my guide on becoming emotionally unavailable, I suggest that you take that advice, but understand that never fully become a sociopath. Does that make sense? I know I'm going off the topic of the podcast, but that's just one major point, okay? I had a podcast on emotional unavailability, but I want to mention that emotional detachment. Guys, listen to me. I went through a very long year of just pure apathy and wasn't really that healthy. So I should say this real quick. You should watch how apathetic you get if you struggle with that, because I have that problem. I have my friend from the Jason Capital community tell me, Adam, empathy is better than just always not caring about other people and this and that. It's I understand that. In fact, I really want to communicate to all of you right now. That is, I went through a period of my life where I just completely detached from my emotions. So, with that said, I want you all to understand this about that story. That story was just me going through complete detachment from the human side of myself. Completely true, you guys. Some of you guys might think, oh, how? How did you go through that? It's hard to explain, you guys. I just did something a little bit crazy, but it's best that you listen to How to Get the Girl podcast to hear that story. But anyways, guys, listen to me. having a shadow side has its positives and its negatives. So the positives is you can get to know that part of you that is hidden that you don't want to show. But also you can go down the rabbit hole too quickly and it becomes very unhealthy. So with that said, you guys, dealing with past trauma. All right, you guys. I was basically nearly manipulated into a marriage. And that's part of the reason I just cut a lot of girls off in my life. But aside from that, I want you all to understand trauma, okay? Trauma, simply put, can stem from natural disaster or any sexual assault or sudden death, okay? Now, I know someone who went through a sexual assault a long time ago. I haven't really been through that myself. So honestly, I'm not going to really talk about that topic of trauma. I'm going to just talk about this in terms of what I went through, okay? What I had to go through, you guys. Listen to me. I went through emotional detachment. Very real for me. It was very real for me. And I had to slowly work on that. So I'm going to talk about myself today. All right? I know, right? Putting this out for selfish reasons, go figure. But I could help someone. So who knows? Maybe you might like this episode. But guys, listen to me. Either you like it or you don't. I don't care. Just leave your negative thoughts at home. But anyways, you have to recognize common reactions, right? Fear, anxiety, stress, along with physical symptoms like headaches, stomach problems. It's important to understand that these reactions are normal and can be managed with the right support, okay? Now, also, guys, listen to me. You can seek out a mental health professional, all right, you guys? That would be my first piece of advice to all of you. Because honestly, for me, not everyone goes through emotional detachment. So if you are not going through that, then maybe listen to a different podcast of mine. I mean, find another one. But I'm just saying right now, you guys, this podcast today is more for myself than it is for my listeners. But I will say maybe someone might get a lot out of this. So I'm going to keep going. Again, seek out a mental health professional is what I said, right? Now, it's time to talk about shadow work, okay? This right here, you guys, is, in my mind, very powerful to do. Very powerful. I talked about shadow work, again, on How to Get the Girl podcast. Now, check that one out. Here's what you do. Shadow work is how I do, basically, trauma work, okay? This is my preferred way of dealing with past trauma. All right, you guys, there are some NLP coaches that do visualizations, but not me. Now, listen to me, you guys. I have studied NLP to a T, so I know a lot of what that field teaches, but again, I'm not going to really talk about dealing with past trauma through like any guided visualizations. No, I'm not. But I will say shadow journaling is what I do, okay? Now, first and foremost, journal out every single fucking event that happened to you in your life, okay? Every single fucking event that has happened to you in your life. Now, here's what I would do, right? I would meditate to binaural beats, okay? Binaural beats. Guys, listen to me. On my earlier episodes, I promote Brain FM because Brain FM is really good. If you check out my podcast with Matthew Gallant, he does mention how Brain FM is really good, and he uses it too. So if you guys don't think Brain FM isn't good, then whatever. That's your opinion. I don't care. But the tension is this, you guys. Again, my apathy surfaces. So you notice what I said there? I said I don't care. Again, apathy. But tension is this, you guys. Brain FM is very good. Okay? Now, start shadow journaling, then meditate to binaural beats. Now, you feel your emotions come to the surface. Yes, you guys, I'm going to say this right now. I know I run the Masculine Mindset show, but you guys listen to me. That doesn't mean you eliminate all of your emotions listening to my show, okay? Just want to make that clear right now, okay? It's okay to have emotions. It's really, I'm not going to, like, give you shit for having emotions. I'm not. But, again, I will give you shit if you express too much emotions in the early stages of dating, because that right there is a turn off. Too much emotions around girls in the early stages of dating, not a turn on. But anyways, back to the topic, right? Feel your emotions come up. And then you get to know your triggers surrounding that. Okay? You get to know your triggers surrounding that. All right, you guys? So, those emotions that you have surrounding your traumatic event, it's going to get you, like, rid of everything that you have had on that trauma. Like, you guys, I went through emotional detachment, and I had to shadow journal why I keep running away from empathy. But again, you guys, what I'm learning slowly is it's okay to bring back my open heart. Okay, it is. And recently I have met someone pretty damn, like, I have opened up myself up a little bit for her. But again, I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm just going to let you know that it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay. But now, again, shadow journaling in a nutshell is you journaling out everything. Everything. And it has to be about that trauma. You can't just avoid your trauma, you guys. I'm going to say that one more time. You can't avoid your trauma. You can't. And if you keep trying to avoid your trauma, it's not going to be a good thing. It's going to be a bad thing. I suggest that you seek out a mental health professional. Again, you guys, I know I'm kind of nudging you to look out there for mental health professionals, but again, you guys, my way of doing this is not for everyone. It's not, again, guys, listen to me. I promote mental health, but I promote it in my own way. Again, I said this is Adam Skoda here. It's going to be a little bit different, but I suggest that you do shadow work if you want to take my advice, okay? Now, daily meditation. I'll talk about that, okay? Daily meditation, okay, is very, very, very fucking powerful, okay? I said this from day one, you guys, on my podcast. I believe very early podcast called Easiest Way to Get a Masculine Mindset or something like that. Guys, listen to me. Daily meditation gives you a masculine mindset. It does. It really does. You think it doesn't? I suggest that you reframe your thoughts on daily meditation, because honestly, it's definitely masculine to meditate. And not to mention, you are clearing your mind. And also, you guys, I want to make a huge point to daily meditation. Every time that I had my best nights with game and quick pulls, like quick hookups, I would always have my best results doing daily meditation beforehand. But anyways, now, let's talk about this for a second. Find healthy ways to cope with traumatic stress, okay? Close your eyes. Think about your past trauma. Now, face it head on, you guys. Yes, you heard me right. You have to face it. Listen to me, you guys. This is a universal law. Universal law right here. So if you try to avoid your traumas, it will manifest. It will. And I hate to be like the bearer of news on that, but your fucking traumas will manifest in long-term relationships. I'm speaking to you that through experience. I've been in several long-term relationships, and I have seen trauma surface on her end and on my end, okay? Again, caged heart. But also, I'll say, I have recently been around someone new that is... Look, you guys, I'm not going to say who it is. It just doesn't matter who it is, but I'm going to mention this right now, okay? I've been seeing signs that I have a heart in there. But now, you want to conquer your fears surrounding your trauma. I'll say that one more time. Conquer your fears surrounding the trauma. All right? Now, one last thing I'll say here is you want to journal out all of your thoughts on paper after you meditate. Okay? So I covered daily meditation and shadow work. All right? So, daily meditation and shadow work. Again, so you close your eyes, you think about your past trauma, then you face it head on during your meditation. And then you conquer your fears surrounding the trauma. And then after the meditation and conquering your fears, you journal out all of your thoughts surrounding it. Okay? Now, one last thing I'll say real quick is deep breathing exercises. Okay? Deep breathing is very powerful, you guys. And some of you guys really forget that breathing is how we are literally staying here on planet Earth. Like, if you stop breathing, you're basically not here. So I suggest that you just find your breath and breathe. Like, if you panic because you were triggered by someone who reminded you of your past trauma, then just breathe, okay? I know it sounds so simple, right? It sounds so simple, and you're like, Adam, this is the advice that you're giving. Yes, this is the advice I'm giving, because breath work is very powerful, okay? Just do, box breathing, okay? Box breathing is you go, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds. Okay, I'll do that again. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Okay? Now, that right there is, again, very powerful. And yes, you guys, breath work does work. You think, oh, Adam, it doesn't work. Yeah, it does, you guys. Here's the thing. You have a fixed mindset if you think it doesn't work. Anything, guys, listen to me. If you question any of the advice I'm giving you today, you have a fixed mindset. Hate to be harsh, but you have a fixed mindset. Because if you think that you can't work on yourself with what I'm giving you today, that is a mindset problem. You have a mindset problem. Hate to be harsh, but you have a bad mindset problem. Now, now that I took you guys through breathing exercises, daily meditation, and shadow work, it's time to let go of it, okay? You let go of it. But before you let it go, I want you to let go of the shame behind it first, okay? Let go of the shame, the emotional mess that you become sometimes when people trigger your past trauma. Because you guys, listen to me. People can do that, okay? They can. The minute I see someone getting easily triggered, I ask myself, what traumatized him? What traumatized him? Because, listen to me, you guys, sometimes you hear me come unpeeled here and there on some of my podcasts, which I will admit to, but I will say I have a teaching point behind those moments on my podcasts. So that's my justification. Either way, point behind that is, you guys, is you need to allow yourself to let it go. Let go. I had to let go of the fact that this girlfriend owed me. So here's what I did, you guys. I met up with her and I said, I'm not keeping this friendship. We're done. And I let it go. And yes, you guys, we do not stay in touch anymore. We just don't. I have zero care to even see her ever again in my life. But again, I told you, my apathy is very, very, very much on the forefront of this podcast. So, again, you guys, the last big point I want to say about this. I do care about my listeners, even though I can be a bit apathetic here and there. I do care about you guys. So, stay with me. The last big solution I should tell you about dealing with past trauma is you seek out a network, okay? And no, I'm not talking about any anonymous groups like AA or anything like that. I don't really do that myself, but I will say any support network would be beneficial. And don't isolate, because you guys, listen to me. Speaking to you from experience, isolating doesn't get you anywhere good. You start going down the rabbit hole. And then you have those downward spirals. What is a downward spiral? A downward spiral is you start thinking too much in your negative mindset, and then you fall into the negativity bias. If you heard my psychological shortcut podcast on how girls perceive your value, I covered the negativity bias. So, guys, listen to me. That's it for me in this podcast. Now, do me a favor. Leave me a 5-star review. Yes, you guys, this podcast is more for me because I am telling you guys how I dealt with my own shit. But I will say this, you guys, most men nowadays live their lives in quiet desperation. And if you take my advice to heart today and you actually take action on it, you, in my mind, are a superior man than most men. So I appreciate you guys listening. In case you didn't forget, I have Alpha Body Blueprint, Masculine Mindset Coach, alpha-body-blueprint URL. And here is a quick testimony. Kurt Gilberg. He went from 163 to 147, lost 15 pounds. And on top of that, he built muscle on top of it. I saw it, you guys. The numbers don't lie. Look on the page. It's one of the pop-ups that you'll see. And you guys listen to me. I'm going to close down enrollment if you keep waiting. And I'm not even joking. I will. So, click the link in the show notes.